Longtime Panthers wide receiver Steve Smith says he's played his last game in Carolina. This according to his agent, Derek Fox. I'm Kerry Chow, joined by ESPN NFL analyst Tedy Bruschi. Teddy, how will the loss of Steve Smith, 34 years old, 13-year vet, all with the Carolina Panthers, how is that going to affect the Panthers?
It's going to affect them greatly. I mean, I remember playing against Steve Smith in the Super Bowl when he was playing for Carolina, and such a spectacular talent, his intensity, his production on the field, really a tone setter for the team. So I think they'll miss him in two aspects, in terms of on the field and also off the field in terms of leadership. But Steve Smith, you get a little bit older and the team is actually moving on, so we'll see how they do production-wise offensively, but it just comes a time where even veteran players, an iconic veteran Panther now has to move on.
And let's talk about that Super Bowl. When you're on the field opposing a guy like Steve Smith, defending him, what's the mentality like? How do you approach that?
You got to be ready for a fight. That's what it's going to be. I mean, he's not the tallest, he's not the fastest. He's just going to one that's going to scrap and claw and fight you from the first quarter all the way till there's triple zeros on the clock, because that's just the mentality that Steve Smith has. And that exudes through the locker room also. I mean, that type of tough mentality, almost like Anquan Boldin-like. You know, he was there, Anquan Boldin, if you can get that example. Just the intensity and fighting for every catch, fighting for every yard. That's who Steve Smith is.
13-year vet, as we mentioned. He's 34 years old. What's the market like for a guy like Steve Smith?
Well, you gotta think it's similar to what it was for Anquan Boldin a couple years ago when he was a free agent coming out of Baltimore, and a team that needs a type of tone setter that they're going to get with, like the Niners did with Anquan Boldin, that contract that he got there. And Boldin's still playing at a productive level. Now, Steve Smith is coming off that knee injury, so a lot of teams will have to take the physical and make sure he's 100%. But, you know, contract-wise, I think a lot of teams will still really kick the tires on Steve Smith and see if he can still be productive for them.
Absolutely. Good stuff as always. ESPN NFL analyst Tedy Bruschi. I'm Kerry Chow with your latest ESPN headline.